Hi everyone, my name is Jon Mella, and in this video I'm going to be giving an overview of my thesis, which seeks to understand the role of immersion when playing digital games to recover from daily work strain. Existing research demonstrates that digital games can be an effective way of recovering the internal resources that are depleted during a day at work. However, studies in this area typically don't consider the role of player experience when gaming for recovery. This is a major omission because theoretical accounts relating games and recovery rely implicitly on player experience concepts such as immersion. However, these arguments are yet to receive empirical support. Based on this gap in the literature, my thesis poses the following research question. How does the experience of immersion in digital games shape the recovery experiences and outcomes of post-work play? In terms of answering this question, we have already collected results from an initial mixed method survey study in which participants reflected on how their player experiences impacted recovery during a recent post-work play episode. This will be followed by a qualitative diary study which seeks to build upon one of the key findings from the survey study. This is the existence of player experience optimization, which I define as the strategies that players adopt in order to achieve the player experiences, including immersion, that are needed to meet their specific recovery needs. Finally, a series of pre-post experimental studies will be carried out in order to establish causal relationships between the optimization of immersion and recovery outcomes. As well as the existence of player experience optimization, another notable finding of my first study was that cognitive involvement, the effortful direction of attention towards a game, was the dimension of immersion which most consistently predicted the recovery variables. We also found from the qualitative data that certain dimensions of recovery were in conflict with each other because they required differing degrees of immersion. Specifically, in order to relax after work, participants desired player experiences that were low in the immersion dimensions of involvement and challenge. By contrast, high levels of challenge and involvement were required to experience mastery, which refers to non-work opportunities for learning and development. There are two main ways in which my thesis, once complete, could be expanded on in the future. One is by creating serious games for relieving work-related stress that incorporate the design considerations arising from my study. For example, designers of these games can include features such as difficulty modes that mean players can tailor their player experience, allowing for optimization to take place. Another way my thesis can be built upon is by exploring whether player experience optimization can be found for other areas of well-being which games are known to impact, for example coping or emotion regulation. So that was a very brief overview of my thesis. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thanks for listening.